Hi, Mum. As you know, I'm Karen. What's your name?
Nathalie.
Yeah. So, Mum, you came here in June 1962. You came from Guyana,
Yes, I
a
do.
village called El Dorado. So, when you were coming, what were you expecting?
A better life at that time. I'd just finished schooling, and so
How old were you when you came?
21, 2. I wanted to see the world, and I wanted to see it change.
You wanted to build a life for who?
Well, for me and my family.
So, when you came to England, what was it like?
I'd expected something a bit better, you know.
What do you mean?
And life better. We were told all the good things that the streets was paved with gold.
So you expected a better standard of living?
That's right. Some people were nice, and some like everyday people, people for you. People didn't like you, they didn't like your color, they didn't like your way of life. Then
And what did they say? What kind of things did they say to you?
awful ones, sometimes.
Awful things.
But I paid no attention to that.
You didn't get angry?
You get angry, but you keep that to yourself. You have to be careful with that, because you get into trouble, and then you will get the blame. You get the blame. I was in the bus one day. There's one instant in the bus, and a child about 8. She came up to me and did that. So I said, no, it doesn't come off. It's like that.
You came in 1962. In 1963, I was born. And 1964, Kim was born. So what was it like having young children in England?
Yeah, very difficult. Difficult to didn't have anyone to help you with the children while you work. And you had to pay for their keep for the day. It didn't work for a lot of money.
How much were you working for?
£5 a week, £5 and 30 pence.
£5 and 30 pence. How many children do you have?
5. I left 3 at home.
Okay, 3. You left 3 behind in Guyana. Was that hard?
Yes, because you had to look about them as well. And not only to eat daily, you've got to look about their education too, and clothing and all that.
So part of your money, for part of the £5 30 pence, was to go back to Guyana.
Oh yes, we've got to find a way in doing it. Nobody's going to do it for you.
So what were your hopes, Mummy, for me and Kim?
I wanted y'all to be well educated, so you can look after yourself.
So what you're saying is that you were looking for those coming behind you to do better than you.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Climb the ladder.
Yeah. And now you've got 5 children. How many grandchildren?
17.
And how many great-grandchildren?
32.
And do you see your hopes coming to pass?
Yes, because you and Kim paved the way, I think.
And they all went to university, didn't they?
Oh, everybody had a good education. And as long as you got the education, you can think for yourself. That was my hope.
Yeah. So you had a strong faith in Guyana. And then you came here. And did you find the church that you wanted?
No. The first thing I encountered was when I speak to the priest, and he said to me, it's very nice of you to come back. Very lovely of you to come to worship with us. But not too often, because then people don't like that.
Okay. And what did you do?
No, I still went.
You still went?
Yeah, because that's God. He wasn't God, not to me. No, he wasn't God to me. And then I found the now church that I go to.
So you liked it better there than the Anglican church?
Because people treated you well there, and I build a relationship with everyone.
I was thinking about this the other day, thinking about my childhood. And I was thinking that I had a good childhood. It was a happy childhood. And I have always felt that you and Kim were like my foundation. So when everything else was wobbly, the rest of the world didn't like me, you and Kim helped me study. What has really been strengthening for me is that you always told me that you love me. You would always hug me and Kim, and I think it's quite unusual for a lot of Caribbean parents to hug their children and say that they love them. And I didn't know that at the time, but it was like something that really kept me strong. I would say that you were a very strict mother, but very loving. So, and I understand why you had to be strict, because you had to be mother and father, particularly when you were at work, holding down 3 jobs. But at the same time as raising us and looking after my other 2 brothers and sister in Guyana and numerous family members, you were very active in church. So you were working with the women's ministries, the youth ministries. You've been a local and a national trustee. And then you would do all these courses. You work with a local pastor's ministry that focused on Black mental health. It's phenomenal how you keep going. How old are you this year?
86.
86 this year, and still going, and still driving, and still cooking, and still so for me, I feel that you are a bit of a legend, Mum, and somebody to be really proud of. So thank you for that, from Kim and myself, and many other young people, or younger people. I'm not that young anymore, but younger people who have looked up to you as a mother figure or an older sister. So, Mum, what are your hopes for the next generation?
A little bit high, because
A little bit higher than what?
than what we have at the moment. They might be able to do something higher. You never know.
But I also think it's how we raise them.
Yes.
And I think it's how we communicate.
That's right.
And I think it's also what we model. I personally believe that, lessons are caught more than taught. And I think that children, more than what you say, they follow what you do. So my hopes for the next generation, yes, I want them to do well. I do believe that our ceiling should be their floor. So, that they stand on our shoulders.
Yes.
Like I stood on your shoulders. Let me say, the Windrush generation then. We owe you so much, because you paved the way, because you broke down barriers that really didn't want to be broken down at all. And I feel that there's been so much that we have done in the church that hasn't been quite right, either through ignorance, just a misunderstanding what a relationship with God should be. I would like there to be communicated that actually it's not just about going to church. It's about a personal relationship. And I would then hope for this next generations then to go and release what they have learned through the Spirit over London in a way that we didn't do. I do feel that we, particularly for reasons that we understand, we did church for ourselves, by ourselves. And that's because we were finding shelter amongst our own, I feel. But I feel we've got to know how we can take the church outside the 4 walls and to release Christ to people who don't know him, to really, for our lives to be a testimony of the goodness of God, and to communicate that he's real, that he's alive, and that he's for us. That's what I would want for the next generations coming up for London.